Now we're back live looking at the men's 5,000 meter run, and the leaders still as they started. Bob Kennedy and Todd Williams, they trained together. They have planned a strategy for this race. They planned everything except who ought to win it. That'll be determined in another 7 laps of this track.
And you said it right. They've been trading it back and forth. They're still on a very fast pace, 13:10. Fastest ever run on American soil, 13:05 by Saeed Ouida at the 1984 Olympics. Kennedy had said that if things went really well, they might go for that. I'd say the conditions and weather probably will mean they won't do that. But these two guys, tremendous respect for one another, often will take post-track season trips together. You think Williams cares about track and field? His dog is named Pre after Steve Prefontaine.
And the national championship record is held by Doug Padilla at 13:16:42 from 12 years ago on this track. So that particular time certainly seems in jeopardy, and I would think that would be the first of their goals as far as records to hit. They don't seem to be particularly affected by the breeze or the heat at this point in the race.
They're well separated from the next 3 runners, who are separated from each other. Alan Culpepper, Keith Dowling, and Andre Williams. And then the pack trails them, although the pack starting to gain a little bit on Andre Williams.
Dwight, you mentioned that Todd Williams has big plans for this year, but they don't include the World Championships. He hopes to break a long-standing American record in the 10,000 meters later this year, and then will make his debut at the marathon distance at the Chicago Marathon this fall. Earlier, when talking about the qualifiers for the men's 10,000 meter team for Athens, I said only 2 Americans had the qualifying time. Of course, Williams does as well, but he's already announced he won't be going to Athens, where the World Track and Field Championships will be held August 2nd to 10th.
There they are on the lead. Williams trailing Bob Kennedy, but just by a couple of strides. Well back is Culpepper. Alan Culpepper in 3rd place, and he is the 1996 NCAA champion from Colorado. He's now 24 years of age and a graduate of Colorado. Followed by Keith Dowling. Dowling is 27 years old. He was 6th at the Olympic Trials Marathon last year. Andre Williams being pressed by the field now. They will return for the conclusion of the men's 5,000 meters in a moment. We're back live now. You're looking at Bob Kennedy well on the lead. Todd Williams, who had been with him, got some separation and has now dropped out of the race as far as there he is, being helped off the track. Todd Williams, who was running a strong second until about a lap ago. Then there was some distance between them, and right here as they approach the 3 lap to go mark, Williams simply collapsed. And he's been assisted off the track. That happened just seconds ago. And Bob Kennedy well on the lead here, trying to attack the meet record of 13:16.42. And there is Bob Kennedy on the lead, while Williams gets attention.
An unfortunate turn of events with attendants huddled around Williams, and you can be sure that Kennedy noticed that. Williams had fallen off the pace, but that in itself wasn't surprising, as Kennedy's personal best in the 5,000 far superior to Williams.
Let's go down to reporter Michelle Tafoya, see if we can find out more about what happened to Todd Williams. Michelle?
Well, Tim, unofficially, what it looks like is pure dehydration. They are dousing him with water. They've brought over plenty of cloths to just squeeze the water all over him. They've also got some ice on him. They're now going to carry him off the track. They've just had him on the outside lanes, as you see, but they're getting ready to take him away. But again, lots of ice, lots of water. It looks like it may have just been purely dehydration. Tim?
Todd Williams, America's best at 10,000. That's what he hopes to be running later this summer. And Bob Kennedy has it to himself right now, and he's going right by where they have just finally taken Todd Williams off the side of the track, but Kennedy does not see that. He just knows that his friend and competitor is out of the race, and Kennedy with 1 lap to go.
Well, this has clearly taken the interest from Kennedy out of this race. You can see him now just going through the motions. He's about to run by where those campers were gathered to cheer their 2 counselors, Kennedy and Williams, and he waves to them now. But clearly his thoughts are about his friend, Todd Williams. Bob Kennedy, the man who really feels the responsibility that he wants to take American distance running to the top. 6th in the Olympic final in the 5,000 meters, a race in which he took the lead and bravely pushed the pace with 2 laps to go. Ended up finishing 6th, but he says, why not the medals at this summer's World Championships? He's ready to break his own American record at 5,000 meters. And this nothing but a victory lap for him here as he's almost lapping runners now.
Kennedy coming up behind the last runner in the field. He's waving to the crowd on this home stretch run for him. The national champion at 5,000 meters will be Bob Kennedy from Bloomington, Indiana, just down the road from Indianapolis. Unofficially, his time 13:30.87. Bob Kennedy, a handy winner here in the 5,000. Alan Culpepper, 3rd most of the way, winds up taking 2nd place with Todd Williams dropping out. And a sprint here among the next group to the finish line. And that is Brian Baker, number 12, getting up for 3rd place, the 1994 NCAA champion while he was at Arkansas. So Bob Kennedy, the national champion in the men's 5,000 meters, unable to catch the meet record as he had hoped he could do, but an easy winner here. And let's go down to Michelle Tafoya with the winner.
All right, well, certainly a happy Bob Kennedy, although I'm sure concerned about Todd. What do you know about what happened to him during the race?
I don't know. I mean, at about 5 laps, he was supposed to take the lead, and he said, I can't do it. I'm just hanging on. And then he ran a few more laps, and he backed off and dropped off the pace. And then I saw him laying on the track. I hope he's all right.
What about these conditions? I know you had wanted to run maybe sub 13:15, and it was a little windy, a little hot.
It was a little windy, a little hot. And I don't know what happened, but I just woke up this morning a little flat. Everything's been going well till now, but that happens sometimes, the pressure of a national championships and being at home as well for me since I live in Indianapolis.
What do you want to do between now and Worlds to prepare yourself to medal in Athens?
Well, I'm very fit, and I'm under 13-minute shape right now. I'll go to London on Wednesday, get some great training sessions in there with some of the Kenyans, and I'll be running some fast races too, and hopefully I'll run under 13 minutes before the World Championships.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Tim.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, we'll get an update on Todd Williams. Areas being attended to, and CBS Sports coverage continues after this message and a word from your local station. Here's Bob Kennedy taking his victory lap. Live pictures from Indianapolis right here where he now lives, a native of Bloomington, Indiana, down the road, the home of Indiana University. And for an update on his friend and competitor, Todd Williams, let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, obviously, Tim, a lot of tension down here from the trainers who are afraid to reveal too much, although they did tell me that Todd Williams is most likely suffering from heat exhaustion and dehydration. They are preparing an IV for him now as they take him off the field, so we can only assume that they're going to try to rehydrate him and get him through this. He is talking. He seems to be together mentally and so forth, but just overly exhausted. Tim?
Thanks, Michelle. And we'll look forward to hearing good words that he's feeling much better. And there's the final result. Bob Kennedy followed by Alan Culpepper well back. Of course, Brian Baker in the sprint to get 3rd. And we'll be back here with more action from the USA National Track and Field Championships in a moment. We're back at Indianapolis at the USA Track and Field Championships. Tim Ryan with Craig Masbach and Dwight Stones. And there's a live picture of Todd Williams, a 5,000-meter runner, who was running 2nd with his friend and competitor Bob Kennedy, and suddenly overcome apparently by dehydration, collapsed on the track as the race was still continuing. Kennedy went on to win it, and he is apparently all right, but we'll get you an update later on if at all possible. We're back live in Indianapolis at the USA Track and Field Championships. Let's go to Michelle Tafoya for another update on Todd Williams.
All right, Tim. Well, again, dehydration and heat exhaustion are being cited as Todd Williams' major problems right now. Nothing really happened in the fall. What they're doing is they're hooking him up to an IV. They're replenishing him with a typical solution that you would inject someone who's been dehydrated with to try to replenish those fluids. They're also keeping ice on different parts of his body, his chest, his legs, and they continue to drench him with water. There's a lot of tension in this tent. They don't want a lot of media attention to this, but that's basically the story from here. Back to you.
Okay, Michelle, thank you for that. And here's how and when it happened. You see Bob Kennedy on the lead, and Williams not too far behind him, but separation had begun between the two, and suddenly he just collapsed with about 2.5 laps to go at that point, and was taken off and is in the tent, as you just saw moments ago there in the live shot with Michelle, getting attention from the medical staff.